The case in Connecticut is extreme in its violence. Imagine Dr. Pettit sitting through 8 days of testimony as he learns exactly what happened to his wife and 2 daughters. Now also imagine the jurors, the things they had to see and hear. What happens to those people? Attorney Shellist joins me today to talk specifically about jury selection, who he looks for when trying a case. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning.
And you know about this subject all too well because you only accept criminal cases. What are you looking for in a jury?
Well, jury selection is the first place you want to start in a trial. Some would argue, and I would agree, that it's the most important step in picking a jury, probably for both sides. But when you have a case such as the one in Connecticut, where there is a brutal murder involving children, involving sexual acts, involving gory photos, things of the like, you got to be real careful who you put on that jury. So specifically, I'm not going to want to put on that jury people that are going to be overly emotional with what they're going to hear throughout that process.
So you're probably going to not want a jury who have perhaps children that age because they're going to take it personally. They're going to put themselves in the shoes of those people.
Absolutely. For example, the case in Connecticut involved the death of 2 children as well as a wife and a mother. I'm not going to want to put people on my jury that have small children at home or who have had other family members who have gone through the same thing. I'm going to look for people with a little more life experience, maybe some people who are okay with blood and gore to a certain extent.
Do you ever have jurors say, you know what, this is, once they're selected, say, I believe this is too much for me, I don't think I can do this?
You know, I haven't had that happen to me. But what happens is when you are selecting the jury, that's the opportunity for them to get out. And as a defense attorney, I am absolutely looking to find those people who are going to be affected by blood and gore.
In the news, we do everything that we can to protect the public and try not to show those images. But in a careful manner, how can you tell people what is happening in that courtroom during a trial like this?
Well, that's a great question. A jury's entitled to see all the evidence, and a lot of times the evidence involves looking at photos of dead bodies, burned bodies, things of that nature, and it's part of the deal. But as a defense attorney, I have to object and ask the judge to keep out a lot of those photos because sometimes it can go too far. And what happens is the state will try to tug at the heartstrings of the jurors, which is really not what a jury is supposed to be doing. Ruling based upon their heartstrings. They need to be using their mind when they're analyzing the evidence. So I have to object and try to keep that evidence out to a certain extent.
Since you're only a criminal attorney and you've also been assistant district attorney, I'm sure you've just about seen it all. Are you ever haunted by some of the things that you witness in the courtroom, or are you able to pull yourself away from that?
No, of course. I have had some cases in the past that I can't get those images out of my mind. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I will see a particular photo from a capital murder case or a picture of a burned baby, something to that effect that really gets to me, and I can't get those out of my mind. That's true, but in the courtroom I have to.
Don't you think that's a problem as well for jurors and perhaps anybody who's in that, certainly for the family members who have to see that for the first time? Do you suggest counseling or something if somebody's really struggling with it after the fact and just can't get those images out of their mind?
I think I would, and I don't think they can get these out of their mind because for me as an attorney, I see these photos on a regular basis. I'm used to seeing this evidence. A juror, on the other hand, may never have seen a photo like this before, and you stick an autopsy photo in front of them, an up-close picture of a child that may have been murdered, and it's going to haunt them for a long time. So absolutely, I would tell those out there that have served on juries where they have witnessed or seen violent pieces of evidence, if it's something that you still think about, go seek professional help. You need to talk about it with a counselor because it shouldn't haunt you for the rest of your life just because you were fulfilling your duty as a juror.
Well, we have so many cases in Houston, and I think this is helpful information for somebody. Perhaps they haven't gone through the situation now, but jury selections happen every day, so it certainly might be something that they undergo in the future. Thank you for being here, Stephen Shellist.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you, and we certainly hope it helps a lot of people.
Thank you for having me.
Natalie.